This is Đà Nẵng TV News brought to you by the Đà Nẵng Radio and Television. My name is Truyền, and today's news will feature the following headlines. Ready to receive and give treatment to new COVID-19 cases. All COVID-19 patients in Wuhan recover. City's police host 2 blood donation campaigns in epidemic season. The Prime Minister has approved the scenario of 10,000 people infected with COVID-19, so the preparation of sufficient materials and equipment for epidemic prevention is crucial. This is the information released at the meeting of the National Steering Committee for COVID-19 Prevention and Control, taking place on April the 27th morning. The meeting focused on biological products for testing, ventilators, and control of people entering Vietnam. Currently, our country is performing 2 types of tests to confirm cases positive for SARS-CoV-2 virus, which are real-time PCR method and rapid test for antibody detection. The country now has 112 real-time PCR laboratories capable of detecting SARS-CoV-2 virus, 48 of which have been allowed to confirm COVID-19 infections. The World Health Organization, or WHO, had just sent a letter to inform the certification of the COVID-19 test kit jointly developed by the Vietnam Military Medical University and Việt Á Company. With WHO's accreditation, the COVID-19 test kit of Vietnam has met international standards. Previously, Vietnamese COVID-19 test kits also received a certificate of free sale by the UK Department of Health and Social Care, which allows them to be sold in Europe and the United Kingdom. So far, many countries around the world have ordered these SARS-CoV-2 test kits. Vietnam is currently performing 2 types of tests to detect SARS-CoV-2 virus, including real-time PCR and rapid antibody detection test. The Ministry of Health affirmed that Vietnam's rapid test bioproducts could completely replace similar foreign biological products, especially when this biological product is recognized and put into mass production. Vietnam will be able to actively use both PCR to detect virus strains and antibody detection rapid test to actively screen and early detect people with SARS-CoV-2 virus. Once being licensed, Vietnam will be one of 5 countries producing SARS-CoV-2 rapid test bioproducts. According to Reuters, Chinese National Health Commission spokesman Mi Feng said on April the 26th that there had been no COVID-19 infected cases in Wuhan city where the COVID-19 outbreak started. The last patient in serious condition in Wuhan, the capital city of Hubei province, recovered on April the 24th, bringing the number of severely ill patients in the city to 0. Also, according to this commission, April the 23rd marked the 20th day in a row that there have been no new confirmed and suspected cases in Hubei. At the Wuhan epicenter, life has also returned to normal. Prime Minister Nguyễn Phúc had just given guidance on handling violations in using funding for COVID-19 prevention and control. Accordingly, Prime Minister Nguyễn Phúc directed the Ministry of Health and the People's Committees of Provinces and centrally run cities to review, adjust, re-evaluate and inspect the implementation of bidding packages for procurement of medical equipment, consumable supplies and medicines serving the work of COVID-19 prevention and control, especially bidding packages for procurement of biochemical testing machines, ventilators, medical face masks, chemicals and consumable supplies. If there are any signs of violation, competent authorities will investigate and strictly handle in accordance with the law. When the social distancing rules have been relaxed, it is important to set up medical checkpoints so that agencies and organizations can grasp the information about whether people coming and leaving their office are at risk of COVID-19 infection or not. Therefore, the Ministry of Information and Communications has encouraged agencies, organizations, and residents to continue using the nCoV application for voluntary medical declaration. Currently, this application has been added a new feature of registering for medical checkpoints. The application will issue a QR code for the checkpoint and can print it out. people entering the checkpoint will use the nCoV application on mobile devices to scan the QR code of the checkpoint and declare necessary information. From April the 27th, 30 provinces and cities across the country allow students to get back to school. Most are students in grade 9 and 12. Meanwhile, preschool children and primary students will return to school early next week. Many schools have taken measures to ensure distance among students, prepare hand sanitizers, measure body temperature, as well as clean and disinfect classrooms and buses. Ho Chi Minh City plans to reopen schools from early May. Meanwhile, Hanoi is proposing school reopening between mid-May and early June. So far, nearly 57 provinces and cities nationwide have decided to allow students to get back to school. Moving on to other notable news, according to the Ministry of Planning and Investment, since the beginning of this year, Vietnam's FDI attraction has been equivalent to only 84.5% of the value recorded in the same period of 2019. 984 new projects have been granted investment registration certificates. The total registered capital has reached $6.78 billion, down by 9.1% in the number of projects and up by 26.9% in the amount of registered capital over the same period in 2019. Although the amount of newly registered capital and trusted capital increased over the same period, the capital contribution for share purchase by foreign investors dropped sharply, leading to the reduction of the total investment capital. Currently, Singapore is still the leading investment partner of Vietnam, followed by Thailand, Japan, China, and South Korea. According to information from the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, in the first 4 months of 2020, the total import-export turnover of agro, forestry, fishery sector was estimated at nearly $21.1 billion, including trade surplus of nearly $2.8 billion, a slightly decrease over the same period last year. Specifically, in the first 4 months of this year, the total import-export turnover of agriculture, forestry, and aquatic products was estimated at nearly $21.1 billion, with exports of $11.9 billion, imports of about $9.17 billion, and trade surplus of nearly $2.8 billion. Particularly in April 2020, the export turnover of agro, forestry, fishery products was estimated at $2.9 billion, down by 16.9% compared to April 2019 and down by 18.9% compared to March 2020. According to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, so far, 788 enterprises from 19 countries worldwide have been eligible to export pork and pork products into Vietnam. In particular, the countries with the large number of enterprises exporting pork into Vietnam include the United States, Spain, Italy, and France. Since the beginning of 2020 until April the 13th, the figure has reached 108. Regarding the volume of imported pork and pork products, in 2020, Vietnam plans to import more than 46,400 tons, an increase of more than 300% over the same period last year. Recently, the youth union members of the entire police force in Da Nang participated in a voluntary blood donation campaign in response to the call of General Secretary President Nguyen and the Minister of Public Security. To ensure social distancing and COVID-19 epidemic prevention, blood donation activities in Da Nang are organized under registration time frames, with about 100 people in total for each time frame, including those in charge of health checkups and blood donors. The total blood units collected in this campaign was nearly 1,300. This was the second blood donation campaign of the Da Nang police force in the epidemic season. The first campaign was an urgent one, taking place in February, when the country faced a severe shortage of blood for emergency and treatment. And now let's take a look at our updated weather forecasts. And that's it for today's news. Don't forget to check out DaNangTV.vn to rewatch our programs. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.